You reversed it.
Okay, I'm here with John. John's my trans farmer. He's transitioning from a rental farm to a sustainable, productive cattle farm. I mean,
Yeah.
and pigs.
Yep.
So we're working on fixing up his property with fencing, rotational grazing pasture. So while we're doing the infrastructure, we're also working on soil health and building up a nice pasture. So you'll see a lot more of that in the future. But what's really fascinating is John went to NRCS, and they in turn went to U.S Fish and Wildlife and got a project approved for fixing up his trout stream. This was a real sluggish stream, and we kept getting these mini floods that were eating away at the pastures over there. And now it's just a gorgeous trout stream. So what are your pronouns right now?
Me.
Stud farmer. I don't know. So I'm gonna let how we transition this from kind of a crappy stream actually to a really nice trout stream. Look at that.
Yeah, so what they did was they basically pulled the stream in and centered the creek channel, which in turn makes the water run a little faster and a little deeper.
Yep, sped up the water.
Sped up the water.
And made some nice channels, and they also stabilized the stream bank using, what was that, larch?
Larch and hemlock, yeah.
And hemlock, because it doesn't rot.
Right, and there's fish habitat under logs. You can't see it, but there's actually logs that go perpendicular with the sill log, and they go up underneath the bank.
Yeah, so a trout can get underneath the log and stay safe.
Yes, and that's what they need because the herons eat them all.
Exactly. Now, right here, there was a pool. There was always a pool right underneath this bush.
Yes.
But that was not looking too good. It was kind of silted in, but right now there's a beautiful channel going right down the middle where it's got to be, what, 3-4 feet deep.
Yeah.
A lot of trout could live right in there.
And you can see it's more, there's more gravel bottom exposed.
Yep.
And that's important for trout. I don't know why so much, but and stuff, but
right, they have to have gravel to lay eggs and have them survive.
Yeah, if they have silt, they won't survive.
That's right. No oxygen can get to them.
Right.
To the eggs.
And before they left, they filled all this in real nice and then put some more limestone down to reinforce this bridge crossing here.
And we're on a temporary bridge for logging, so we're also doing some logging up top.
Yeah.
And unfortunately we have to take the bridge away, but there's still a ford here. You can drive across it no problem. You see how they stabilize the bank. So when the water comes up, then the water's going to flow up and over, and then it'll focus the flow into the middle of the stream.
Yeah, and you see how the main channel is right here, and then you have like a 2-foot bank, and then you have another 2-foot bank. So if you have a high water event, even if it goes up on to all that creek bottom that they stacked up there, it's not going to cause any damage.
Yeah, it's not going to erode because it's all made out of riprap.
Yeah. But all of it is made to push the water back in
to the middle.
To the middle.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, he said they moved this bridge the other day, and he said when they pulled it up, there was a great big trout underneath when they lifted it up. Yeah.
I believe it. Yeah.
Yeah, it turned out beautiful. What I like is, and they were explaining to me, there's a reason why you change, like you have riffles and a slow pull,
yep.
Then a drop in elevation, then you have riffles and a slow pull, because it changes the velocity of the water when you have a high water event and keeps it from eroding so much.
Right.
Yeah, it's really neat.
It's a tremendous improvement.
Yep.
And what I'd like to do in this mud flat here is put some duck potato in there, because that's good deer food in the wintertime. And it loves that kind of environment where it's just a muddy flat like that. There's a lot more of that on up the stream, you know, where they built little waterfalls and channel centering devices and trout habitats. Really terrific. So the thing to do is come over here with a little tiny spinner and see if you can get a native trout. I'll bet natives that come up here, you probably get brown trout coming up here to spawn in fall. In November.
The one, Mark, the younger kid that works for U.S Fish Wildlife, he said, so what'll happen, all these tributaries are all, they have colder water than like the big channel. So in the summer when the big channel warms up, the trout will actually follow the cold water and they'll swim up these streams.
Yeah, if you follow this stream all the way up, it goes way up into the mountains up there.
It's all spring fed.
Yeah, it's spring water. It's very cold. In fact, that's looking pretty inviting to get into right now. All right, we're going to head up the hill and see what's going on up there. All right, so here's what happens when autumn olive gets a foothold.
Oh.
What, it is about 15 feet tall back there. Look at it growing right up that pine tree, and it's so thick. And then you have, to top it all off, you have Japanese stilt grass.
And mile-a-minute weed.
Mile a minute over there. That'll be greening up here shortly. And so we're going to put in for some funding to get rid of all this. And John did some tillage here and planted some raised crazy mix on the top of this little ridge. But we got that much more yet to do down here. And we're going to need some kind of heavy-duty grinder to get through that stuff. So we're going to try to get some funding to do that. So stay tuned for further developments.